One of the things that garnered a lot of excitement in the crypto community is NFTs. I have no idea really the depths, the fundamental technological, philosophical depths of this technology, whether this is just like a little bit of a fad or if there's some deep lessons to learn, whether it's Bitcoin or cryptocurrency in general about it. Do you have thoughts about like the long lasting fundamental aspects of NFTs?
I think there's probably both things happening, fad and things to learn, right? And if we just start with like, what is an NFT? It's a non-fungible token, meaning that there's no fungibility. And fungibility is a fancy word. I always describe it as if I took a $100 bill and I put it on the table with a bunch of other $100 bills and we mixed them up and I just grabbed a $100 bill and left, I'm no worse as long as they're all, official $100 bills, because as long as I have $100, I have $100. I don't need that exact same bill back. So that means that those $100 bills are fungible. Non-fungible would be like art. If I took a Picasso and I put it down on the table and you brought 3 artists that no one's ever heard of before and we mixed them up, and I just took any random piece of art and it wasn't the Picasso, I lose because the Picasso is really important there, right? So the non-fungibility is important in art. What these non-fungible tokens essentially are doing is they are creating scarcity and originality in a digital environment. And what I mean by that is take a music file. If I had a music file and you wanted it, you said, send it to me. I press send. It essentially creates a copy and you get one music file, I get another. We don't care. You can listen to music, I can listen to music. We're super happy. If I instead, though, have a digital file that entire premise is based on scarcity, and I hit send and you get a copy and I keep the original, or you get the original and I get a copy, there's a problem. And so ultimately, what I think is playing out with NFTs is it's a technology, regardless of where it plays out from blockchains or what in communities or environments, that just brings true digital scarcity to the internet. And so naturally, what do people do? They look at the legacy world and they say, well, what's scarce there that has value? How do we bring that to the digital world? So art is a perfect example, right? And, frankly, last year I started to look at this because it felt like this was going to be really, really big. And the conclusion I came to was, just as Bitcoin is going to be bigger than gold, right? The digital application of something is going to be bigger than the analog application. The same thing is going to be true in art. The digital art world is going to be bigger than the traditional art world. People think that sounds crazy at first until you start to realize it's very, very similar. The art is more portable. It can be divisible, right? It's got a larger demand market in terms of the internet rather than an auction, right? All this kind of stuff. When you display it, it can have motion and music and all of these aspects to it that are better than the traditional art. What the traditional art market has that the digital art market has not had is the narrative. Narrative-based world, scarcity kind of in a digital sense. And so what I think the entire world is going through right now is an exploration of how do we use this technology to create new things. Frankly, we're not going to be good at it for a while. And so the only place I've really focused on is digital art itself. And I've always been interested in art, but I wasn't going to go buy a painting and hang it on the wall, right? In the sense of that's how I was going to store value. What I find fascinating, though, is that I now can take that concept, which most of the wealthiest people in the world have a significant portion. Some people have 20% in terms of, number of billionaires, 20% of their wealth is in art. And you can bring it to this digital realm, which is much more kind of natural to a digital native. And so the best way I know how to describe the importance is, imagine a serial number being placed on something. Take the Eiffel Tower. The only Eiffel Tower that has value is the first one. Every replica of it, regardless of size, location, who made it, where they sent it, they have no value. Eiffel Tower 001 is the most important. And so I think that's ultimately what we're starting to see here. And what we're looking at is probably 1% of what it's going to grow into.
So you're bullish on it. You're saying it could grow into something for 1%. It could grow into something significant, like all kinds of different applications.
Strip away all of the applications right now and just think about is digital scarcity going to be important on the internet?
Right. Moving all the things that are scarce in the physical world into digital space, us trying to figure out which things can be moved and not. And also there's things in the digital space, just like you're saying, that don't exist in the physical world that might also benefit from gaining scarcity. Like, you know, people are, I guess, creating NFTs out of like tweets or whatever. So like you have a fun Twitter account, you know, you could say like, you could put value to a single tweet and then be able to invest in it and trade it and buy parts of it and all those kinds of things. You know, you can invest in people, you can invest in, you know, art can be defined broadly as any kind of creation, right? And in some sense, this whole idea of scarcity can overtake the entirety of the digital world. It can like consume the all of the markets we see as financial markets and just turn everything into a market.